Okay, looking at this one, it says bronze is an alloy or mixture of copper and tin. The alloy initially contains 3 kilograms copper, 8 kilograms tin. You add X kilograms of copper to this 11 kilograms of alloy. The concentration of copper in the alloy is a function of X. And so then they give us an equation here. F of X is equal to the concentration, the total amount of copper divided by the total amount of alloy. A, find a formula for F in terms of X, which is the amount of copper that was added. So I've got a function F of X is equal to, well, I know initially I had 3 kilograms of copper in there, and I added X kilograms of copper to it. So that's going to be 3 over X, gives me the total amount of copper, and then the total amount of alloy. So originally there was 11 kilograms of alloy, because again, it's a little confusing, but alloy, all it is a mixture of copper or tin. So the total originally was 11 kilograms of alloy, because we did 3 kilograms of copper, 8 kilograms of tin. So there was 11 total. But then I've added X more copper, which means the total amount of alloy is the 11 that was originally in there, plus however much copper I just added, because that still is technically an alloy. So this is the formula, F of X equals 3 plus X over 11 plus X. B tells me to graph the function for negative 15 is less than or equal to X is less than or equal to 10, and Y is between negative a half and 2. So on our graphing calculator, and I'm going to type it in to mine and take a picture of it, we need to enter this rational function that we just found. So mine's loading. So hopefully you've got a head start and got it entered into yours. All right, I'm starting to type now. So I went to Y equals, and now then I've got 3 plus X over 11 plus X. And then it tells me what the window should be. So I'm going to click window. It tells me the lowest X value should be negative 15. The highest X value should be 10. Mine already was that. The lowest Y value should be negative 0.5. And the highest Y value should be 2. And so I've got all of that entered into my calculator. I click graph. Let me get a picture uploaded. Here's what my graph looked like, and everyone should look the same. So if you think about it, which parts of the window are needed to discuss this situation? So X represents how much additional copper I added. That's what the X-axis is talking about. Well, I can't add negative amounts of copper. That doesn't make any sense. So the only X values that are possible would be X's from 0 upwards. So the only ones that we care about are positive X's. So what part of the window is truly needed? I need X's that are greater than or equal to 0. And then think about, what about the Y values? So if these are the only X's I care about, what is this Y value right here? Well, think about if you plugged in 0 to the function. That would be a Y value of 3/11. And then what's happening to the Y values as we go? They are increasing. So the Y's can't be any lower than 3/11. But also, the Y's can never get bigger than 1 either. Because no matter how much, I'm adding? No matter how much copper I add to this mixture, Like say I add 1,000,000 kilograms of copper. This would be 1,000,003 over 1,011. So it's really, really close to 1, but it's still not going to ever get to 1. So the Y values are between 3/11 and 1. So, okay, there's B. Here I go just ruining questions. Look at the graph as x gets really, really large. So it says make your x max very big. So on my window, I'm going to go and change x max instead of being 10. Let's make it, I'm going to put in, there's 100,000, there's 1,000,000, because that's kind of what I just got done talking about. Right? So when I made my x max 1,000,000, so again, the graphing calculator has a hard time handling this. But like if you look at it, it almost looks like a straight line at 1, because for so long the graph has been really, really close to 1. You can see right here's the little bit of the downturn that it's taken, right, as we get to x being 0. But yeah, the graphic calculator has a hard time even showing this. So what is this talking about in terms of their situation? So what I just said is the Y values are going to get really, really close to 1, but they're never going to actually get to be 1. That's the idea of a horizontal asymptote. So here's the answer that they give. As the x values get really large, the y values approach 1. That's because y equals 1 is a horizontal asymptote. The concentration of copper will continue to approach 1, but it can't ever get to 1 or be 100%. If it was the case, we would no longer have an alloy with tin. It would only be copper. So kind of like how I talked about before, because the starting point was 3/11, I can't ever close the gap to get it to be 1. There's always going to be at least 8 kilograms of tin in there. So the fraction never gets to 1. Okay, so we answered that one together. I want you to try to answer the next one on your own, and then we'll show the answers up here afterwards. But try to do the next one on your own. I know these are kind of weird, the modeling questions, having word problems, but try your best. See what you can figure out. Go ahead and pause the video here because I'm fixing to put up the answers. Okay, so here those are. For A, it's 30,000 plus 3x. Hopefully that one was pretty straightforward. B, find a formula for the company's average cost per widget. So we've got the total cost being 3x plus 30,000. And then if we're making x widgets, we need to divide that by whatever x is. So there's your total cost on average per widget. All right there. C, if I were to graph this, and they tell you what window to look at. So here's what your graph should have looked like for C. D, explain in economic terms why the graph of A of x has the end behavior it does. So what is the end behavior? As x gets really large, we're kind of leveling off at $3 a unit. And it costs roughly $3 a unit for it to work. So the more widgets you produce, the closer you get down to that $3 a unit. I'm thinking, if you've ever watched Shark Tank, I'm obsessed with watching Shark Tank. They always talk about that they need a loan, or not always, but sometimes they'll talk about they need a loan in order to increase how many units they're ordering from whatever company's producing them. And that's because as you increase the units made, it decreases your cost per unit. Because there's normally an initial fee that you're having to pay to begin production. Like here it was $30,000 to start building it. But then it's only $3 for every unit after that. So it would really stink if I only wanted one, if I could only get one widget, and I'd pay $30,000 plus 3 more. That's a lot of money for one widget. But where here, if I'm up to producing 40,000 to 60,000, my cost per widget is much more reasonable, around $3. So if I started charging $5 a unit or $6 a unit here, I'm really increasing my cost, where if I was only charging $5 or $6 here, when that's about how much it was costing me per unit, it's harder to make any money that way. Anyways, that's D. I kind of probably did more than I needed to there. E, explain in economic terms why the graph has a vertical asymptote that it does. So the vertical asymptote is here at x equals 0. So that's because the fewer widgets you produce, the cost per widget is closer to 30,000. So we kind of talked about that already too. So the limit as x approaches 0 of a of x was positive infinity. And then F, the company makes a profit if the average cost of its I just ruined these questions. F, the company makes a profit if the average cost of its widgets is less than $5 a unit. Find the minimum number of units the company can produce and still make a profit. So this is an intersection problem. Hopefully you figured that out. On your graphing calculator, put y equals 5 in there. And then we're just wanting to find, where does this graph intersect with the horizontal line y equals 5? And it looks like, to me, it's somewhere between 15 and 20,000, just by eyeballing it there. And if you actually do it, it says 15,000 is the amount of widgets you need to make a profit. Just go ahead and give you an idea for tomorrow. Tomorrow you guys are going to do a card sort. So all the cards will be up there on the cart. You can grab those and put them together. Just once you get done, try to mix them back up and put them back up there, because the 6th period class is going to have to use the same ones. But if you want to, like once you get them sorted, you could take a picture of them, or you could write down your answers on a piece of paper. I'm pretty sure in your handouts, you should have a recording sheet. So like, it should look something like this here. Just so you know, these are backwards. That the numbers 1 through 15, those should be the equations. And then right here, you're going to put the graphs in here. So those are backwards. Then you've got a characteristics tab, and you've got an extra tab. So the extras, I'll tell you this. One of the extras can go in multiple spots. So not every one of these is going to have an extra. There's only a few of them that do. But one of them can go in multiple spots. 4 of them can only fit in one spot. So as you're trying that out, I'll have the answer key posted for you guys to look at. But try to do the card sort on your own first, and then check the answer key at the end. On Monday, I'll be back. I want you guys to, we're going to do a test review Monday. The test will be either Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on how much time, how much help you guys think you need. Hopefully we can have it Tuesday. That would be ideal for me. But if we've got to push it to Wednesday, we can do that. Like I said, the thing is, there's not that much new that you've been learning without me. We kind of had covered everything before I left. You just were kind of reinforcing those skills. So again, hopefully the test will be Tuesday, October the 3rd.